right, this is the periodic table class activity. So the purpose of this activity is to practice using the periodic table. Now, each section will have its own set of instructions, so follow the instructions to complete this assignment. Now, you can see there are several references. There's this video that will help you out. There is this video that explains the periodic table, and then there's also the periodic table. So if you don't have one available, there is this periodic table, and you can see that over here. So let's just go ahead and start this first section. So it says, use the periodic table to identify the atomic symbol of the following elements. The squares won't turn green until the entire row is correct. So this one, what we're doing is we can look and see here the atomic symbol for an element has one capital letter. So these are the letters on the periodic table. I'll shrink this so we can see all of them. And you can see here, if we look at this first one, or like, let's do an easy one. Number 2, what is the symbol for boron? So I'm looking for boron. You can see up here it is number 5. And if I come in here and I click on this, I'm just going to put a capital B. And notice it did not turn green because I did not get the entire row correct. But that's how you do that. Let's look at the next section. So now we're going the other direction. So use the periodic table to identify the element from the atomic symbol. The squares won't turn green until the entire row is correct. So let's take a look at a hint, because this one can be tricky. So some of these are tricky. Some atomic symbols are abbreviations of the element's Latin name. For example, in Latin, gold is aurum. So let's go to number 20. What is the element that has the symbol AU? So if we look on our periodic table, look in group 11, you can see here AU is gold, right? So some of these are tricky. So there's a drop-down menu that has all of the elements in alphabetical order. So I put gold there. Notice it did not turn green because the entire row, I have not done the entire row. All right, so this next one, use the periodic table to identify whether the element is a metal, non-metal, or metalloid, then classify each element. The squares won't turn green until you get the entire question correct. So there is something on the periodic table known as the staircase. Everything to the right of the staircase is a non-metal. Everything to the left of the staircase is a metal, and hydrogen is that special case. So let's go ahead and do a couple of these. There is the staircase on here. There are a few on there on these that are metalloids. Metalloids are they're the rare ones. So let's do beryllium. So you can see here beryllium is number 4 in the periodic table. It is a metal, right? Because it is to the left of that staircase. It's to the left of that staircase. And the classification, well, you might have to watch that video, but because it is in group 2, it is an alkaline earth metal. It is an alkaline earth metal. So great, I got that one correct. Let's do silicone. Silicone, you can see here it's number 14. Well, silicone is a metalloid. Now, it is in group 14. Now, those do have a specific name, but they're not in the ones that we have learned, so I just classify that one as other, right? So if it's in that, it's going to be other. Let's do one more. So we've done metal. Let's do a non-metal, right? Let's do this next one, right? So helium, notice it is let me scroll over a little bit so we can see the whole periodic table. There we go. Helium is in group 18. It's to the right of that staircase. Helium is a non-metal. And since it is in group 18, it is one of those noble gases. Good. All right. So let's go to the next section. Use the periodic table to identify which group and period the element belongs to, then classify each element. The squares won't turn green until you get the entire question correct. So let's take a look at just the first one, right? Number 36, well, it is zirconium. So I have to locate where it is on the periodic table, ZR. It is right here. So it's in group number 4. So this is the group numbers. If we look at that hint, it says on the periodic table, groups go up and down, periods go left to right. So I can see that it's in group 4 because that's the column, but let's find the period. Periods go left to right, so it is going to be in period 5. So it is in group 4, and it is in period 5. And the last thing I ask you to do is classify it. It is in groups 3 through 12, so it is one of those transition metals. Notice I got it right. And the whole question turned green. All right, so do those for those 20. Now this next one, we're going the other way. You're given a group and a period, and you have to find out which element that is. So let's see with the instructions. It's the same thing. On the periodic table, groups go up and down, periods go left to right. So what element is in group 17 and period 6? So group 17, you can see here it's all the way to the right, and period 6 is 17 and 6, right? So it's astatine. So notice that it isn't alphabetical. This drop down is in alphabetical order. And here it is, right? Now notice it did not turn green because you do have to get the entire row correct. Scroll down to this one. So let's see here. So on the periodic table, groups go up and down, periods go left to right. Elements in the same group will have the same number of valence electrons. Elements in the same periods will have the same number of electron orbitals. So look at the symbol for the following two elements. Identify whether the elements are in the same group, same period, have the same number of valence electrons, same number of electron orbitals, and have similar chemical properties. So let's just take a look at this, right? Are these two elements in the same group? So let's find aluminum and gallium, right? And I chose these two because these were the ones that this gallium is the element that Dmitry Mendeleev predicted when he was coming up with his periodic table, the modern periodic table that we use. So aluminum is right here, number 13. Gallium is one below it. So yeah, they are in the same group. Now, they're not in the same period, right? Because they're not in the same row. So they're not in the same period. Do these two elements have the same number of valence electrons? So if they are in the same group, they have the same number of valence electrons. So yes. Do they have the same number of electron orbitals? No, because they're not in the same row. Do these two elements have similar chemical properties? Yes. Because they are in the same group, they're going to have similar chemical properties. Notice that I got it. It all turns green. And those are the last problems to that. So once again, this is the periodic table class activity.